deciding map, in fact, that would be. So yeah, they're still on the fence here on the back foot. Historically, we were talking before as well, this has been Complexity in this particular matchup, Complexity versus Luminosity. Anytime they've played Nepal, Complexity has won it, at least in the Winter Premiere. But today, Complexity has not been looking the best on their control point maps.
There's nothing I have.
Teams here to start things out. So far, showing virtual mirror comps with an exchange of Pharah for Genji.
Remember your training. And
No, to kind of address your point earlier, they also have to need to shut down Icefeld.
Yep.
Absolutely agree. However, if they're running that kind of 2-2-2, but a little bit of a dive style, when Shake is playing Zenyatta, he pretty much counters out Icefeld on his own. It's really only when there's two people going after him, when he has to deal with both Icefeld and Ube.
Yeah, and that can be very troublesome indeed, and it seems as though Shake will be on the all right, they're going for more of a standard setup here, at least for on Nepal. They have Torque and Nicholas on the DPS 2-2-2 setup, and already a Complexity of lost Winghaven. Icefeld finds that, so ooh, hitting those shurikens long range. Duncan from Ube, but it is Luminosity with the stronger presence on the point because Complexity had lost Winghaven so early on. They pretty much had to wait for him to respawn, come back. Now they'll look to engage quite quickly. A good concussive grenade actually brought some of the players, dispersed them on the side of Complexity, and Luminosity is there. Well, Luminosity is going to get the frags here regardless of that. Torque and Winghaven have both gone down, now losing Joe Meister. Complexity not off to the best of starts here, but they will be going for the regroup. No real ultimates up yet. They'll be looking to engage.
That initial engagement clearly going towards Luminosity. Luminosity breaking out a little bit of a set play to take down Winghaven right off the bat after a counter charge.
Oh, the boop from Nicholas using that concussive blast to take Super Pluke down, sending him into the pit. This is a huge opening for Complexity now, but the Nano Blade is going to be out from Ube, and this is dangerous. What a sleep dart from Shake to put him down, but he ends up getting woken up in the middle of it, and he'll be able to continue doing damage now to the rest of the Complexity squad. So now they're losing a lot of players. Joe Meister is still on this point, trying to bring it back. They were so close to capping Complexity, but Luminosity end up holding them off in the end. 60% and counting now for them on this point.
If Luminosity can reassemble and get up close to this choke point, they do have a lot of weaponry. An Earthshatter, Graviton, and Attack Visor kind of hanging all the way there in the back. That's a lot for Luminosity to hold, and with 30% left or so, they're looking very good to take round one.
Now the Graviton's gonna be out there. Icefeld just slowly grinding down Hard Blue and ends up getting the kill. And they do use his sound barrier. Complexity. Torque had used his tack visor as well. Now Icefeld looking to capitalize off of his own tack visor, really dishing out that damage. And even though Complexity ends up getting the point, Spree and Icefeld combine to just mow through the ranks of Complexity. And Luminosity will regain control of the point very quickly, and Complexity needs to hurry up and go. They have triple DPS now. Hard Blue's on Tracer, mainly probably to get back to the point quick, but one last fight is all they'll have unless they get the point. Charging across with Super Pluke, a good boop from Mineral. Made sure that his teammates didn't actually get caught by that charge, but Super Pluke with Earthshatter and Winghaven charging in. Needs to get heals and quick, but they just focus him down. Couldn't stay alive, and barely making it to the point in time was Complexity. They're down so many players at this point. I can't imagine Luminosity does not take map number one here, at least stage one, and indeed they do. Off to a good start here. Luminosity up 1-0 on this control point.
Well, Complexity taking Nepal frequently in the past against Luminosity, but as we've said a number of times, Ube was all the way over in Finland when that was happening, and now he's here, and he is on fire today.
Is indeed. He's been feeling good, playing good all day. And taking a look at a replay here, going in with that Nano Blade. There ended up being a tremendous sleep, and that is such a shame that he got woken up. I think Nicholas may have already kind of fired a rocket towards him. It was just unfortunate timing, but I mean, really great play from Shake to at least kill some of the duration of the Nano Blade. Didn't end up mattering in the end because they didn't get the point, but we are headed on to phase number 2 here. Going on in is they are on Shrine, and Down 1-0 is Complexity. Icefeld actually making a switch over to McCree, and Torque now playing Tracer. Hard Blue continuing to stay on Zarya, and Icefeld can also be quite dangerous on the McCree. We haven't seen him do as much of it throughout the winter premiere. Icefeld playing McCree, but we know he can be dangerous on it. Luminosity still 2-2-2 setup for them.
Wow, this looks even worse for Complexity than when Icefeld was playing Tracer so far. Fairly accurate with McCree, and McCree on this stage of Nepal is deadly.
Yeah, very deadly, and it's going to work good to counter Nicholas, who's on Pharah, and charging through him was Ube, actually even getting that flashbang off. Winghaven charges in, got a biotic on himself, quickly dispatched of by the rest of the Luminosity squad, and Nicholas bodies Icefeld, so it's a 1-for-1 trade. And they do have one trying to wrap around this left-hand side. There was an excellent barrier from Spree onto his Reinhardt to make sure that he stayed alive from the pulse bomb, keeping him nice and healthy. Ends up going down in the end, Super Fluke, as the rest of Complexity tried to press towards the point. There is this barrage at the ready. Nicholas has it. Graviton comes out, and he will now use that barrage. Melts through a couple of players. Spree ends up killing himself, but a lot of damage. Oh, nice shot from Icefeld to finish off Nicholas, but Complexity with a strong presence on the point here should be able to cap up. Yes, indeed, they will. Luminosity, though, gets 50%.
Complexity staying very calm there after Nicholas took out McCree. They didn't push in too far. They just kind of loitered around, waited for another pickup. I think that ended up being Super Fluke, and from there poured it on, using the barrage just to guarantee they're able to retake it, keeping everything down to 50%. Generally a great assault there for Complexity. Now they're going to be in a situation where they're going to be holding while Luminosity comes back. They do have a Graviton to assist them in that, and perhaps a Sound Barrier to defend against this Dragon Blade when it comes out from Ube.
They're going to drop it in. Hard Blue was completely separated from his team, and there was absolutely no follow-up from the rest of Complexity off of the Graviton, and now Ube is going to use that Dragon Blade yet again. Very hurt. Joe Meister able to finish him off with the right click, and Torque is there to take out Hedan. So still back and forth affair. That barrier was there yet again from Spree on his Reinhardt as the pulse bomb came in. I think it may have worn off just in the last second and dealt the damage. Super Fluke's low, but he's still alive, and that's what matters for Luminosity. So they retake the point here. Complexity evened it up. Luminosity now is going to take an advantage in percent.
Shake with a number of hero plays so far on this round. Biotic on Ube quite frequently, setting up Ube, keeping him in positions where you can't necessarily keep getting that healing as he's flying around. And once he lands that effectively, Ube's danger is very, very limited. But either way, Luminosity taking back the point, 49% for Complexity as they're stepping in, and they're starting to look for a different angle here. But Luminosity's going to take it to them first. They're not going to give them the time to dictate the pace of this battle.
Oh, they were trying to go for the flashbang over the top, get the shield down, then Earthshatter, but it just didn't connect onto the squad of Complexity, and regardless, they did still manage to find a few kills, but so did Complexity, and they have a much stronger presence on this point. So once they clean up Ube, they should be able to retake. Ube just trying to stall out as long as he possibly can. And they do get the cap. So Luminosity sitting at 91%. Complexity is going to have to be just about perfect through the rest of this if they want to take this stage of Nepal.
Luminosity will have a Graviton, though, work with, able to get this back. But like you said, Complexity, they're just holding on to so many different tools, and kind of the terrain makes it much harder for Ube to kind of do what he's been doing so much in the past. A lot of time he's going to be within range of Winghaven, but hold on to all that thought. There's a Nano already on the field. Torque's going to go down to Icefeld.
There was a pretty big Earthshatter, but Luminosity have so many kills. It's only Harblue who is uphill. Try and come back in and stall as long as possible. Uses Graviton, actually ends up buying a little bit of time for them, but I think that may actually end up paying off because he needed to buy some amount of time. Nice shot from Icefeld. That did buy enough for them to get back onto this point, but it'll be a rough fight for them. Pulse Bomb did connect with Super Fluke. Complexity actually getting themselves back in it a little bit. Winghaven ends up falling. They just need to make sure they continue to get players onto this point. Torque is there for now, and now with Joe Meister going down, that could make things very difficult. Missing. Oh, he's got to convert on that kill. Torque manages to find it. 2 kills, in fact, for him as Icefeld missed his flashbang, and Torque, who's so hurt, has survived for way too long here. Luminosity needed to clean up on him long ago, but it is still a continuous fight. Complexity just desperately trying to regain control at this point. They have the numbers here, but Spree is going to stall as long as he can, and I think they will be able to retake. Luminosity coming back to regroup. It'll be one last fight to decide this.
This is neck and neck so far. Just about 10% left here on the percentage meters. for Complexity to capture this point and even up the round score here on Nepal.
Oh, nice pulse bomb. Torque lands it right onto Super Fluke. And now it's looking actually quite good for Complexity. They end up losing Joe Meister. They've traded. It's a 4-on-4 fight, and Hardblue with that nano boost, he's pretty charged up. That could be bad news. Gets put to sleep, though. That is a big play coming out from Hedon. And they are still continuing to duke it out on the point, as it has been quite back and forth. They don't really have a lot of big damage dealers, and that Earth Shatter from Super Fluke finishes off Shake. So now it's really not looking good for Complexity, as Luminosity has a pretty strong standing on it. Super Fluke's Fire Strike takes out Torque, and this is going to be the last fight to determine who takes this stage. Oh, I thought he had made it back onto the point in time, but apparently not. Complexity will tie it up at 1-1 here on Nepal.
Ube struggling a bit more. I mean, as much as you can call him struggling, certainly doing quite a bit of work there, but Shake finding a lot of angles to get Biotic on him. Winghaven getting a few connections with a hammer. Anytime you get in those close quarters fights, which there's going to be a lot more of on Nepal, he can't necessarily dash vertically in a lot of these different angles a lot of the time. And frequently, he's just going to catch like one hammer swing from Winghaven. And when you're Biotic, that puts you in an area where just a little bit of damage is going to put you down. But either way, he was doing a phenomenal job throughout. Luminosity just barely giving up that point.
Oh, man, that was... Thought Ube made it there. He just missed it barely. Had to be by a pixel.
Shake, though, I do want to point that out. Shake was huge in that last round, and he is playing on fire right now. That solo shatter coming up from Fluke was absolutely worth it. You might just keep doing that.
Yeah, now that is actually going to send us on to Village, and already Complexity with a number advantage, a 2-player advantage. In fact, so far in this fight, Nicholas on Farah has just been uncontested so far, flying around. No one's been able to deal with him. They don't really have anything to deal with him on the side of Luminosity, and they will just come right onto the point and cap it up first here, Complexity.
Now, this stage of Nepal throughout the Winter Premiere has one that has always been in Complexity's favor for the most part. Torque has been so deadly on Tracer on this stage, and sometimes Nicholas will hop over to May, and he can be quite a threat as well. But on Faro, when they're in a defensive posture, not so much when they retake, he's a huge presence to deal with.
And now they're coming to engage back into this fight. Torque has done so much damage to Mineral. I thought he might even be a bit lower. Easy pickings. Torque hitting so many headshots. That is absurd out from him. Oh, goodness. That is a full team wipe. Lights out.
Complexity definitely looking like they're going to get back into this game so far. 33% on the meter. They do have a pretty large advantage in their ultimate economies. Overall, Torque can certainly guarantee that this next push doesn't really go anywhere as long as he's able to find the right target. A really biggest thing is to wait for Spree's barrier to come out onto somebody first and then put it onto Super Fluke and finish him off. Because if he allows Spree to save him, and Spree will save him, it's going to waste that. But that nano is going to come out on Nicholas, and that barrage is going to be let loose, and that's a disaster for Luminosity.
Oh, got put to sleep, but he still did a whole lot of work with that barrage beforehand, and it is all Complexity on Village so far in this stage. I mean, Luminosity, they don't really, they're kind of behind in the ult game too. I mean, Complexity have quite a bit to work with. Soon to have the Graviton Pulse Bomb combo, they Earth Shatter, almost a sound barrier. It's going to be a really tough 75%. In fact, too, it'll probably be just about one solid fight for Luminosity left. They need to make it count here. It'll be difficult. Nicholas looking to try and hit these air shots. Couldn't quite land, and Luminosity were starting to put time down on the point. 1-for-1 trade so far. He's going at it with Ube. What a shot from Nicholas, ending Ube. He's finished off afterwards, but that is a thing of beauty out from Nicholas, giving a clinic on Farah play right now. It is going to be all Complexity on top of that. They use, it's going to be Boostio Mineral on the point. I don't know if there's anyone else around, and Complexity, it's all them on the point. I don't even know if someone's there from Luminosity. No, they are not. Not there to touch the point. Complexity now getting very much back into this, taking a 2-1 lead on Nepal.
Very quickly in that stage, it looked like Complexity taking up 2-1 was already a foregone conclusion. Ube finding a little bit of trouble trying to get there into the fight. As long as he was staying on Farah on the offensive side, I didn't really think they were going to be getting a whole lot of momentum out of Luminosity. Perhaps if he broke out his May, divided up the point, did some walls like they've done in the past to retake, something that we've seen Complexity do as well, then that might be the answer. Certainly trying to go air to air from a defensive posture to Nicholas isn't going to really work out so well, but at the same time, when Torque is playing this well, and this is the Tracer we've seen Torque play so much in the past, it's going to be hard just to get onto the point at all. That backline harassment is just too much to handle.
Complexity with a very good opportunity. I mean, to send this into, well, a fifth or maybe a sixth.
This is their chance to tie it
final
all
map.
up.
Yeah, they can tie it up 2-2 right here and send it into a final map if they can manage to take this stage.
And it's not the stage that they lost. They've won both of these stages so far, so this is a grand opportunity for them.
So far, Complexity playing very aggressive in onto the point. Hedan, who's so low, Nicholas is just connecting with these rockets continuously, and he's still uncontested flying around in the air. Ube's looking for the hook, but Nicholas doing a good job of positioning himself away from the hook, and he gets even another direct rocket to take down Hedan. Torque takes out Super Fluke. Complexity capping the point first here yet again. They've totally turned this match around. I mean, just really finding their groove, and they are playing on point.
Nicholas is already at 82%, 88% on his barrage. He's going to have that in the next fight. Probably going to loiter somewhere around the gate and drop it right on top of Luminosity's head when they come in. Pretty much guaranteeing, unless they're able to make a big play with Super Fluke, but with no ultimates up to defend it, this should be sending back to spawn for Luminosity any moment now.
Oh, Mineral so hurt. Torque really looking to clean up on this if he can. He's just hanging on by the skin of his teeth, but he's doing such a good job, Torque, of getting onto these backline supports, and he's just melting them with damage. Mineral so hurt. Torque is going to town on Tracer at the moment, just wiping Luminosity off of the map. And Complexity will be up to 40% and counting with a whole lot of ultimates to work in the bank. Oh, it's not looking good for Luminosity right now, to say the least.
No, it is not. Just now getting close to 50% for Complexity. They've already won this stage once. They're looking to do it again. Gonna tie everything up with Luminosity and take this game all the way to a 6th map is what it looks like so far. Not ready to call it yet, though. Almost 5 ultimates online for Complexity. That's a disaster for Luminosity. They're gonna have to find a way to come up with some big picks to open this up.
Good speed boost coming out from Complexity to disengage a bit, but now they use the sound barrier. Nicholas ended up killing himself, but they are still very much in it, trading back and forth. Torque is just looking for a target to find with this pulse bomb, waiting for this Graviton to come in. Torque with 3 off the pulse bomb. That is fantastic coming out from Complexity. 80% and counting. It is just about to go into a final map here. Complexity in full flow at the moment.
The reverse sweep looks like it's about to be real, at least. Well, maybe it will make it a chance at least.
Oh, it is looking so good. Torque is on fire at the moment, and no one's been able to deal with him. Ube and Nicholas going at it in the air, but Winghaven coming down, actually getting taken out. He had an Earth Shatter already. That could end up biting them. Ube going for the barrage. Nicholas says no to that. And now Luminosity is going to be down 2 players. They're still continuing to trade, but Nicholas still finding frags for Complexity. Pulse Bomb from Icefelt finally ends his reign of terror. But with Torque still there, you know that Complexity is always going to be in that fight. Takes down Mineral, lands the Pulse Bomb onto Fluke, finishes him off. Complexity are still around on this point. Winghaven is there to try and stall it. He hits the Earth Shatter as well. If he can clean up on these frags, that could be big for them, though. Getting put to sleep, well done by Hedan. Finishing off Winghaven. Hardblue is still there, and Nicholas finding to himself, yet Complexity looking to send it to a final map, and they are indeed able to. We'll have one more to decide this 3rd and 4th place match.